Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you doing today? Happy Friday. I hope that you are all having a good morning so far. I am down in slightly gloomy Bournemouth today. I've got a new client down here, so I'm just about to go head off into their offices. On Monday I was down here and we were mapping out the company way, the way that they deliver their service to their clients. And today we're going to be looking at roles and responsibility, compensation, behaviours, how they're organising their people and their company, their structure. So it's going to be a fabulous day. Hope you are also got lots of great stuff planned. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Tara. Thank you so much for joining. Today I wanted to share my thoughts about building a support network and get your ideas and thoughts as well. The reason why I think this is so important for business owners and entrepreneurs is that there's a lot of myths around entrepreneurship and owning a business, and I think there's this kind of work ethic that we think that in return for our freedom we just have to work really, really hard, and it can be we compare ourselves to each other, and a lot of people approach business as if it's a code to crack. I'm nearly there, and I certainly do that. I'm going to work harder, the answer is just around the corner. And the problem with that is that we risk losing perspective. It can be incredibly lonely being a business owner. Maybe your friends and family don't really quite get what you're doing. Sometimes my husband will say to me, wouldn't it just be easy to go back to the city, to go back to your old job? We put a lot of stress, or we can put a lot of stress on our finances, on our health, on our relationships, and that can lead to burnout. And so for me, having a support network in place is really, really important, and that's what I wanted to share with you this morning. Asking for help is really difficult. Well, I find it really difficult, and I know that a lot of people find it difficult. But it really is essential, because we always think that we're the only ones that are suffering or are struggling, and it's simply not true. One of the important things about asking for help is getting a different perspective. It's easy to sort of get caught up in a bubble in your head, just your own perspective. And so today I wanted to share with you some different types of people that could be in your support network, but also my thoughts on how you put that support network in place. Good morning, Antonia. Thank you so much for joining. So let's talk about the different people that you could choose to have around you to help you get that perspective and that different way of looking at things. So the first person that you might consider is a coach. Now, a coach will challenge the picture that you have of your situation and maybe of yourself. See, we've all got a picture of ourselves. We've all got a picture in our head of who we think we are and of the situation that we think that we're in. And that's not always particularly objective. That voice in our head is not always the most helpful one. And so a coach will help you by holding up a mirror to you and reflecting back what you're telling yourself and gently challenging that and inviting you to have a look at that from a different perspective. Now, coaches generally work cross-industry like I do myself, so they don't have necessarily specific knowledge of your business or your industry or your situation. So they're taking from you how you see the world and what your challenges are, and helping you work through those. So a coach can be a really great person to help you get some perspective on your situation. The next person that you might want to consider, and you're not going to want to have all of these people at the same time, but I just want to run you through these different people so you can start having a think about who might be the most appropriate person for you. A mentor is somebody who is likely to have experience in your industry or in your kind of situation, building the kinds of business that you're trying to build or experiencing the kind of challenges that you're experiencing. And so they're able to give you some advice, which a coach won't generally do, give you give you some insights from their experience. And so that can be a really helpful sounding board and person to kind of bounce off, and again, give you that important perspective. The third group of people then is what I would call advisors, or consultants. So people that have specific knowledge around a particular problem or a particular aspect that you're struggling with or that you need support in. So in my case, how to structure and run a business from a kind of an operational and a team perspective. And advisors will give you specific advice and help. So, for example, on tax. So your accountant is really what I would call an advisor. Maybe some legal issues that you're facing. And I know a number of you have faced some legal issues this year. HR specialists. So anyone that calls themselves a specialist, anyone that's got a specific kind of knowledge or skill can be really, really helpful in your business to bring in and out when you need them. So the next group of people that I'd invite you to think about is board members. Now, for very small companies, that's probably not appropriate, but certainly as you scale, getting that governance in place is going to be super important, particularly if you're fundraising. And I know that a number of you have either been through fundraising rounds or are considering doing that. And having proper governance structures in place and having a proper board of directors is going to be super, super important, because potential investors, shareholders are going to definitely want to see that. The role of board members, they can also be advisors, so they might have specific industry knowledge or experience. But the key thing that you're looking for from your board members is that they are holding you accountable and they're also challenging you. So they provide structure for you, but it's somebody effectively that you're reporting progress to, and that is really super important. So linked to that, if you like, is masterminds, accountability support groups. So if you like, this community is a version of that. And next year, we're going to be looking at launching an in-person accountability and support group for those of you that are in London or can travel to London. We're certainly looking at doing that. Support groups are, and a sort of accountability groups, actually accountability and support is super, super important. So you're in a room full of your peers, or you're in a network full of your peers, and you find that one minute you're reaching out and asking a question or asking for help, and other people are giving you their perspectives, and the next minute somebody is posting or speaking about something that you have experience of and you can share. So it's really a great way of being held accountable, receiving that challenge, but also that support and keeping that perspective that other people go through what you go through and you're not alone. The last group of people that I wanted to mention to you, which I already have mentioned kind of in passing, is investors. So as you scale and raise money, you want to be thinking about who you want to be investing in your business. So a lot of people get to a point where they're so desperate for the money that they'll kind of pick any investor. And I would encourage you to think about fundraising before you get to that point, because who you choose especially as your early investors, is super important. So again, that challenge and support from the right investors can be really, really important as you scale. So these are my different groups, and thank you for your comments. Let's have a look. So Tara is saying super support network, love it. Yeah, super important. Lisa, hi, good morning, Lisa. Thank you for joining. Support networks are so key, absolutely. And yeah, accountability is brilliant. It's a really important thing. And Lisa says, I'd be interested to hear more about that, please. Yes, if any of you are interested in those in-person accountability groups that I'm looking at setting up next year, then do get in touch. There's a few people that have expressed interest in doing that. So having an online community like this is great, but there's nothing quite like meeting up in person and sharing your experiences face to face. So definitely keep in touch for more details about that. So these are the kinds of groups that you might want to think about, or the kinds of people you might want to think about bringing into your support network. And now I want to speak a little bit about how do you do that? So how do you put a support network in place? And for me, it really comes down to 4 steps. So the first thing is you really need to be clear about the outcome. So what is it that you're actually trying to achieve through this support network? It's great to have support, but what specifically are you looking for? And what is the outcome that you're looking for? The second step is really to do your research. Ask for recommendations, look online, make sure that you know who you're potentially dealing with. Just check people out a little bit. In this community, you can ask others for recommendations. If you're considering working with me, you can obviously ask a lot of people in this group that do work with me. The third step is really around arranging a call. So once you've done your research and you've decided what kind of person you're looking for and you've identified who you might like to work with, then arrange a call and ask your questions. Make sure you ask them how they work, what their process is, what their areas of expertise is, and how they feel that they can help you. Also maybe ask for their experience, whether or not they've worked with similar organisations or similar people such as you, if that's important to you. If you're looking for industry knowledge, then obviously you would ask about that. And the fourth step is then to think about what type of support are you looking for? Are you looking for individual one-to-one support, or are you looking for group, as we mentioned, group accountability, group support? It sounds like a few people are interested in that in-person accountability and networking. So I think that's very important. So get really clear about what type of support and what's really going to work for you. And people often ask me what I would recommend. What I would say is I would probably recommend a blend of the two. So I would definitely recommend some one-to-one coaching or mentoring, but also definitely get yourself in a group, get yourself surrounded by like-minded people. It can really, 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 really help. And remember what Marissa Mayer famously said, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. So get yourself in a room, whether it's an online room or an in-person room, surround yourself with people who inspire you and who lift you up and who help you get that important perspective. So I'm really interested in what your experiences are of building a network, what you do to combat that loneliness, but also that bubble, that echo chamber of our own head. What do you do to sort of combat that experience? So to lead into that, or to sort of build on what I've been saying then, this community is really, really important to me. It's really dear to my heart, and I really want to make sure that you all get as much as you possibly can from this community. And I know that many of you don't know each other, and so that can be kind of quite awkward when you enter into a group and you're not really sure who's who, or kind of how it works, and I try to encourage you to contribute, and some of you have, so thank you for that. But I thought that maybe to help with that and to enable some of you to meet each other, we are going to be holding our very first Real Entrepreneurs Community event in London on the 5th of December. It's in the morning, 8 till 10, and I will post all the details there. And so we're going to do two things on that event, during that event. Obviously, the most important thing is the networking and meeting each other, but we're also going to do a little bit around how to set yourself up for an amazing 2020. So that's going to be a super fun event. I'll post all the details in the group later on about that, and I really, really hope that you'll be able to join, those of you that are in London or are able to travel to London. So I would like to wish you a very happy Friday. I hope that you found that useful. Please continue to post your comments. Let me know what your experience has been around creating a support network. I hope you have a great day and a lovely weekend, and thank you so much for watching. Take care and speak to you soon. Thanks, bye.